this Tuesday, January 28th. Bloody Tuesday? I don't know. I mean, here we go. The Wolf Crew yesterday. I was on Spaces, and I'm going to be on Spaces a lot this week. So if you want, go over to Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and you can get alerted when I'm on Spaces. I think Twitter does that, but I don't know how to set it up. But they never called on me yesterday. So you guys get the exclusive to my thoughts on the market. But first, a message from our sponsor. Have you tried Deepseek? China is now sponsoring the podcast. What is Deepseek? Deepseek's an AI. Okay, this is a great article. If you don't know what it is, it's a great article. It tells you several tech stocks were in the lead. Implications on Bloomberg reports that the combined losses in share price between the NASDAQ 100 and European stock 600 technology subindex is equal to $1.2 trillion. The loss in NVDA alone yesterday would have put it as the 17th largest publicly traded stock in the world. Okay? It looked horrible. My portfolio looked really, really bad. It was bad. The Qs, we held up to that 511. Okay? The morning candle, the low was 510. The afternoon candle, the low was 510. So we're around there. Does that mean all bets are off and we're ready to go up? No. We're going to go over everything. We're going to go over NVIDIA. I'm going to go over the utility sector, which I do think is a buy, and I'll tell you right now why. We're going to go over to year-to-date gains on most of those stocks that were down yesterday. We'll go over, is it an overreaction? I think so, and so do so many people. Alibaba released a few new AI models. Why is Apple still a buy? If you want software names, 15 software names from Shay. We'll go over the trending stocks, which two of them I think you could buy on the dip. We'll go over who's going to buy TikTok because Microsoft all of a sudden is in there. Is that something to look at? And we'll go over the earnings calendar because let's be honest, we've got a Fed meeting announcement tomorrow, and you've got huge earnings today. So let's first look at the Qs. Are all bets off? Is it buy back in and everything's just back? No, there is still risk in this market. We've still got, if for some reason you've got a CTO that comes out and tells us, we're going to cut spending on our chips, then you're kind of screwed. It showed yesterday what the largest companies, when they get taken down, can do to the indexes. Okay? Look, who remembers Black Monday? The yen carry trade. Okay? Did you want to buy on August 5th? Absolutely. Do you want to buy Deepseek? FUD? Everyone panic? Call your mom. That was yesterday's episode. Okay? Here's the heat map. Doesn't look bad. You got Apple up 4%. You got Meta up 2%. You got Walmart up almost 3%. Costco up 3%. There is a lot of green on this. Look at healthcare. Again, a sector that was hated. We'll go over all the sectors. But right now, I want to kind of go over what happened. Okay? NVIDIA. This was down significantly. The chart looks ugly. Algorithm got you out with a 16% loss. The algorithm makes you 309% over 24 months. That 16% doesn't help. It wins 55% of the time, okay? There's some safety in here, but it's not perfect. It's not perfect. There's only 20 positions. So you win about 11 of them. You win 11 out of 20, but it's not perfect, okay? Your average win, 21%. See, look at that 18%. We're still looking at 140 as the resistance. So if for some reason we hear this week somebody take down their spend, we're going to see more losses. Who's going to win? The shareholders of those hyperscalers. Because if they cut back spending, guess who benefits? It's shareholders. Where's that money going? Most likely shareholders. This looks like it's oversold. So today it's up 2.43%. Do you buy at 120? If you want to hold on, yes. You are not going to 240 in this stock. The market cap will not let you get to 240 in this stock. So here's the counter argument. I believe that Zuckerberg is one of the smartest founders of the Mag 7. The Mag 7 is still founder led, okay, by Zuckerberg. You may not like the guy, but I do think he's very intelligent and he has done this, okay? He announced last week that he's buying a record number of NVIDIA chips. Who was up yesterday? Meta, because they've already got all their chips, okay? NVIDIA was down, but they've got a ton of chips. Now, do you think, I don't believe, that the biggest thing is whether you believe that the Chinese trained their model on that few of chips. Okay, NVIDIA is in a no-win situation because if NVIDIA comes out and says there's no way they trained it on those chips, then they're telling America, put more curbs on the Chinese because they've obviously gotten the chips. They're not going to sell the chips. So they cut back their sales. And then if they say, well, it's obvious they're able to train it on those chips, boom, NVIDIA actually just talked their own book down. And they said, you don't need these additional chips. So do I believe that the Chinese trained for that little money? No. Do I think they screen scraped and stole some code? Yes. Do I think they used a smaller amount of chips to actually train, but they stole some base code? Yes. I think that's exactly, I think the Chinese, listen, you give credit where credit is due. That was a chess match. They just manipulated the US stock market by basically saying, you know what? Here's your red pill, here's your green pill. And they were celebrating over there. But if you think that Mark Zuckerberg 1 week before did a record spend and pre-announced that he was buying all of this, and if you think that there is any thought process in his mind that he could do it cheaper, remember the time when Elon got all those CEOs? I think it was January of last year. He said, I'm worried about the pace of AI. Let's all agree we're going to slow it down. What happened? They all went, they went balls deep and they started spending on NVIDIA chips and they started accelerating AI. What was it, 6 weeks? Elon built the largest data center with a ton of NVIDIA chips. He didn't even slow down. So if you think that for some reason everybody's going to slow down on this, and even NVIDIA, remember, NVIDIA chips will continue to get sold because they need to use that software. So I think Zuck is smart enough that if he thought there was any way he could do it cheaper, they would. Okay, and think about it this way. The power companies. We had VST, we had Constellation Energy, we had all of those high flyers in the utilities. They were down 25%. Why? Because the Chinese have shown that it can be done 25% more efficiently with power. So anything that was up, we'll go over everything like this. Look, the heat map shows it's not, it wasn't bad. Vista and Constellation lead the S&P losers as Deepseek market routes it down. Well, let's just go over this. VST up 387% in 1 year. And it's down 28%. Buy it. GE Vernova. Okay. That one was down. Let's see. It was down. GE Vernova was down 24%. That's up 100% over the last 6 months. Not even the last year. 6 months. Constellation Energy. That one was down 20% yesterday. Up 200% for 1 year. When in doubt, zoom out. Because there were still, like I showed, we're going to show this. This is the top losers in the S&P yesterday. VST, Arista Networks, I believe that that's an opportunity. GE Vernova, they're just getting pumped today. Constellation Energy, they're back up. So take a look at the losers yesterday. Find stocks that are a valuation that are good. VST and GEV and CEG, you're paying for the top winners. Okay? But this shows technology and utilities were the top losers. That's an interesting one. Now, these are the top winners. These are the top, let's say, biggest winners, including utilities. Look, the top one, America Waterworks, it's a utility. It was up 6%. Doesn't mean the whole sector's down. Consolidated Edison, that was up 4%. Ones that didn't fly were up. Okay, the home builders got huge because, again, I wrote in the paid newsletter yesterday, I gave my outlook on it. I said the VIX wants to be at 20. Well, guess where it got to? It got to 20. I think it was 18 or 19, somewhere there, before it gets to 10. Unfortunately, fortunately, interest rates showed that they ticked down. So the 10-year came down. What happened? Home builders went up. So this is all something that you can look at and create a strategy around. So look at this. The Dow was actually green yesterday. Small caps weren't that badly hit. Mid caps, 1%. On a day like yesterday, mid caps 1%, I'd take it. Look at, they're up 1% over 5 days. The NASDAQ just got destroyed. Then you had consumer staples up 2.71% yesterday. Healthcare up 2.25%. Technology down 4.90%. So it's all about what you want to, what you're invested in. If you hurt yesterday and you didn't sleep last night, you may have just the wrong portfolio because it wasn't as much of a bloodbath as everybody says. If the Mag 7 continue to go down the way that they did, then you're going to have to adjust it. This is what market rotation looks like. But I think those losers yesterday, I think you could buy them, but don't go balls deep. The biggest stock movers Tuesday, these were huge. Biggest stock movers include NVIDIA chips and power like TLN, CEG, VST, and others. Okay, VST gained 5%. Talon Energy, GE Vernova all rose 4%. RTX on its earnings, again, earnings are moving stocks. That was up 4% after strong earnings. And if you didn't sleep last night, you don't have a proper portfolio for your own risk tolerance. That's it. If you slept fine, you may just have alpha picks. Again, alpha picks yesterday, here's what it is. Year-to-date alpha picks up 10% versus the S&P up 3.71. Okay? Year-to-date alpha picks. And yesterday, what did you get as an alpha picks benefit, a subscriber? Deepseek AI breakthrough triggers market volatility. They went over all the alpha picks yesterday. You get all of that. How do you get this? Well, you go to the link tree down below, linktr.ee/daily stock pick, okay? I would suggest the second link because that gets you not only premium, which gets you the virtual analyst reports, which gets you the quant ratings on everything that you want to do and you can research stocks, but it gets you the Alpha Picks portfolio. And the Alpha Picks portfolio, again, is such a good portfolio. Look at I think it's up 186%. This is an old graph, but I can't get the new one up because then I'd have to show you the portfolio and then they yell at me. But you get $50 off. Now, $50 off the bundle of Alpha Picks is great. But you save $159 off of the price of the bundle. So you're saving more. And that's what I like. If you just want to research your own stocks, you can get that and you get $30 off and you get a free 7-day trial. All the links are here. If you want the premium and the Alpha Picks bundle, it's right there. If you want just premium and the 7-day trial, it's right there. If you want the Alpha Picks portfolio and not even worry about it, you get it there. How do I use the Alpha Picks portfolio? I put it in the newsletter every freaking day. I bought $50,000 worth of it one time. I bought $80,000 worth of it the next time. I don't think. I just buy when they tell me and I sell when they tell me. That's what Alpha Picks portfolio is. The buys, 2 per month. It's 1 on the 1st, 1 on the 15th. You add 1% of your buy-in. So I have a portfolio of $50,000 in there. I will buy 1% of that. So it's $500 each time. Okay? Have a job, start adding. And that's how they have that performance. It's really, really good. And they give you certain things. Again, here's the portfolio return up 164% versus the S&P at 58%. So it's a great portfolio. So if you didn't get it, there were big gainers, including Twilio yesterday, which is an alpha pick. expanded earning. Salesforce, Green Brick Partners, all of those were up and they're in alpha picks. There were some that lost, CLS. But remember, the majority, because you add in 1% into the portfolio each time, the only amount that you'll lose is 1% if it goes to zero. Again, it's a managed portfolio that way. So, I love that one. Now, let's talk about NVIDIA. If NVIDIA's loss yesterday was a company, it would be down the 17th largest company in the world. That's what they lost yesterday. It's why I don't want NVIDIA as my core position in my portfolio, but it is a decent amount of my portfolio. I have exposure in the Qs. I have exposure in XLK. I have exposure in multiple ETFs. So I am exposed to it. But Gene Munster says, reading into NVIDIA's response to Deepseek, they didn't say much. NVIDIA acknowledged Deepseek's strong model performance and noted it as proof that time-tested scale remains effective. The most positive takeaway was their comment that the scaling laws are continuing, implying demand for NVIDIA's most advanced chip remains favorable. They will have to buy more. They will have to do it. And NVIDIA wasn't even the biggest one that was down yesterday. Marvell leads the losses. That was the biggest one. It plunged 19%. Broadcom was down 17%. CRDO, Credio, which is the number one stock for 2025, that was down huge yesterday. Are these buys? In my mind, any reaction in the market is an overreaction. This is up 7% in pre-market, Credo. We can go and look at AVGO. AVGO is up 4%. Again, I think Credo has more room to actually grow than Broadcom. Broadcom's a competitor. So I think these two stocks, I think you could buy the dip on these two stocks. Find a strategy. Maybe the strategy is here in Trendspider, the 4-hour algorithm. Credo, it got you out with a 28% loss. Is it going to get you back in? Probably. Most likely, yes. It's going to continue that. You have a huge Bollinger Band. Is it overpriced? Well, let's go look. The valuation, not particularly. The PEG ratio is still low as long as they continue growth. When's their earnings coming up? It's coming up in February, late February. Now, if we look at the weekly, you can see the MACD still stretched. Do you want to get into on this? Well, on their last earnings, December 2nd, the low was 47. Where did it trade down to yesterday? The low was 51. It's trading at 55 right now. Don't go balls deep. Add a little bit. It's, again, a little bit stretched here. Maybe it's the 4-hour that you want to look at on that one. But again, Gene Munster thinks that it's good. Marvell was the biggest one. You can look at Marvell. Find a strategy that fits your risk tolerance. Okay? Former Intel CEO, blast market for Deepseek overreaction. Any reaction in the market is an overreaction. So I like this one. I like this article. I like Pat Gelsinger. I think he got the short end of the stick. But I also think the guy's like, Mr. Happy even when, the sky is falling. So take it what you want. Tom Lee thinks today's NVIDIA is an overreaction. So remember, this market reaction is because the markets assumed China trained their model on $6 million worth of chips. Musk, nah. He agrees with the Scale AEI CEO, suggesting Deepseek has more NVIDIA chips. Listen to the experts. The experts are saying there's no way they trained this model. And do we think that the Chinese would lie to try and get, again, we just banned TikTok. Is this the reaction to TikTok where they say, hey, hold my beer, we're going to crash the U.S. stock market? Could be. Could be. Alibaba is launching new AI models. Is that a buy? They're up 1.24. Is Alibaba a buy? I don't know. I don't like this stock. It's not one that I would hold in my portfolio, but I could trade it. And let's see, as long as it's going along strong on a weekly, on a long term, I wouldn't mind trading Alibaba. We've seen a nice little upturn. The algorithm has you in here at 82. And you're seeing the 50-day may start to turn. You're seeing a resistance up there at 120. But boy, if you buy at 90, that 120, if you get up there, they're launching models. Have we seen the bottom? The 50-day on the weekly is moving. The MACD right at the oscillator. It's not extended. The RSI at 53. This is one that's trading at a level that it hasn't traded at since what, 2016? Is it crazy? I don't know. If you like China stocks, maybe this is one. Maybe they actually get some access to the Deepseek model that other companies don't. Sam Altman, Deepseek, OpenAI promises he's going to, when they said this is a Sputnik moment, for everybody in the audience who's not aware, Sputnik was the Russian, they actually went into orbit first. And that kicked off the space race here in the US. And we had a timeline and we needed to get to the moon. We were the first ones to the moon. And what they're calling this is the Sputnik moment, is that we're going to kick ass and, America, F yeah. And if you don't know that Team America, just go and Google Team America, America. And you'll find a song that will put you in such spirits. It's so good. America, fuck yeah. Now I got to label this with adult language. But again, I think you buy the dip. Now, Apple bucks the Deepseek sell-off as investors await Q1 return. I like Apple going into earnings at 220 more than I like it going into earnings at 233. 233 is a bit expensive for me. I like it going in with lower expectations because then it's already pulled back. And when I reinvest my dividends, I get a better price. I have thousands of dollars of dividends that come to me and it just automatically reinvests. That is one choice that I'm super happy with, that for certain stocks, I just choose to reinvest the dividends. But they bucked it. You know why? Because Apple would be a winner because they don't spend on AI the way the rest of the companies do. It's smart spend. And if China can create a model that's small enough for a laptop, remember, this is running on a laptop and it's not power constrained, Apple will be able to put it on a device. If there's one company that will be able to put it on a device, it's Apple. And what was up yesterday? It was software. It was CRM. It was a Snowflake. Here's 15 software companies that Shay is monitoring. Okay, go and do your research on them. CRM, I own. Snowflake, I own. And Snowflake, I trade in that range. We've gone over this before. Find a strategy that works. For a stock that you own, don't get shocked when it's down 17% like NVIDIA yesterday. It was clear that NVIDIA could move like that. We've had it many times before. I bought in at like 136. It's trading right now at 119. It's pulling back a little bit more, okay, as the market opens. Snowflake, we've gone over this before. What's my strategy? It's in this realm, okay? It's up at 180. I'm looking to start selling at this level. I'm not looking to start buying until it can get above the 200-day on the weekly. I want a stock that can hold the 200-day on the weekly. It's not rocket science, but you've got to figure out a strategy. That's what yesterday was all about. Okay? One of the strategies, there's a lot of stocks on the watch list, the daily stock pick watch list that's in Trendspider that wound up in the trending and most active stocks. Talon Energy is one. Sterling Infrastructure is another one. Okay, VRT is another one. I own VRT. TLN is one of the ones that I put in the Daily Stock Pick 2025 portfolio. The 10 stocks that I wanted to try and beat the S&P. It's up 3%. Talon Energy is one that I like in the utility sector, and it's a new one. It's just under its 200-day. Okay, the algorithm got you out with a 7% loss. The weekly doesn't even show up because it's so new. But I like this stock. Okay, if you go over here and look at Talon Energy, it is a strong buy in the quant. The valuation's there, the growth is there, the profitability's there. Wall Street, it's a strong buy. 10 analysts think that it's worth $267, which is a 35% upside. It's ranked number 1 out of 6 in the utility sector. Again, watch list, making sure that you watch the trending and most active stocks. That's a strategy. Okay, I like it. And then out of left field, You've got one of my top stocks, Microsoft, is a contender for TikTok. I like this, okay? I don't like that they're going to buy TikTok, but if they're involved with TikTok, boy, they get the cloud business. They get some pretty impressive customer numbers that they could target. I like it. What else do I like? I like playing earnings. And here's another benefit to having Seeking Alpha. You get the upcoming earnings in your stocks. Microsoft reports tomorrow after the bell. Tesla reports tomorrow after the bell. We can go and look at Earnings Hub, okay? Today it's Starbucks, Stryker, Chubb. Earnings Hub, Tesla. They're expected 76 cents. What they report last time, 72 cents. That would be a big jump. I'm just saying. It's at 391, under 400. If he comes out with some type of statement about buying NVIDIA chips or not having to buy NVIDIA chips or some type of demand thing, could move it. You know, hey, we're going to have full self-driving available. Trump has promised that it's going to get rushed through there. Don't put it past Elon. The man's a showman. Microsoft, they're expected $3.12 per share. They reported $3.30 last time. I think this one could, I don't like it going in at 432, but as you get to 400, I like that stock. Meta, I've told you, buy it under 600. It's at 673 now. I don't know that you're going to have a chance to buy this one, okay? They reported $6.03. I would not be buying this one before earnings. Doesn't mean it's not going to pop. I just don't like it going in with an expectation of $6.73. And without the election advertising, I think you might see this one have very tough comps this year. I'd like to buy it closer to 600. I'm having patience. You know, you can look at some of these stock charts. We can look at Meta. And is this one worth buying? Look at this. I mean, on a 4-hour, the algorithm got you in at 615. That was January 17th. That was 10 days ago. And it's moved up 100 points. Okay? From a percentage standpoint, 10%. I don't want to get in when it's up 10%. I want to get in when the algorithm tells me to. You win 61% of the time on the 4-hour algorithm on this. Again, I got an alert to buy here. You can see it. I don't even know what this damn thing is. The Trendspider names their alerts. I don't know what that is, but I commended them. It makes me laugh every time. 6:15, I got a text. Did I buy it? Yep. Bought a little bit, not much. Should have bought more. But again, I like that one. When you look at a weekly, look at it. The MACD kind of resetting. It's just kind of sitting there. But I would look at this 549 as support. We've seen it move from resistance 1, 2, 3 times. And then once you broke over it and held it on a pullback, boom, that was support and it took off. Is it stretched? A little bit. A little bit. But the Bollinger Bands aren't hugely stretched on the weekly. But I want to wait past earnings. That's just my thought process. And then you go and look at a little bit more. You got Apple coming up on Thursday. You got Exxon and Amazon on Friday. Or on Thursday. Sorry. Amazon's Thursday, I think. Let me see. Let's go over here and look. Amazon. Yeah, I don't know where Amazon is. But they're reporting at some point in time. I think Trendspider is just, or Seeking Alpha is just a little bit. You got Google coming up. You got PayPal. You got Pepsi. You got Palantir coming up. Again, have a system in place so that you know when your stocks are moving. Now, from YouTube, if you didn't know, you can contact me anywhere, and I'll look at a stock for you. D-Man, one of the biggest supporters of the podcast. This guy is never disconnecting. And I did. Yesterday, I wrote a newsletter about, I got a bunch of just comments about the education section here and how I think Eli was one that wrote back that he goes to this regularly just to look and refresh his knowledge. I got a couple other, I think 3 other ones, comments about how good it is. It's video, it's posts, it's charts. The education section is a really good one. And it's far less than what you would pay for a course. And I think it gives you everything that you absolutely need. So for me, I think that's a great one. D-Man is a supporter. He's a paid subscriber. Let's see. He commented on YouTube. Added waste management into his own. He works for Home Depot, and he's got what he calls a Depot portfolio. And so his strategy is, hey, what does Depot use that I'm seeing all this time at Depot? Waste Management. What company doesn't use Waste Management? Tell me. I mean, trash is trash. He was preparing for protections. And it's been a good buy entry at 200 is my average cost. And you're right. People are going back to safety. I see it in WM. You have a good trade setup and you should bring it up on the pod tomorrow with earnings coming up. I like the name too. I think you can get in for a quick flip play to 220. Perfect retest on the daily. And I think people are front running weekly MACD cross looks like about to happen. I like the name until 230, 240 name. Well, let's take a look at the chart. I mean, he's technical trading this one, okay? Algorithm got you in at 205. Did it feel comfortable for those days when it dipped down to 200? No, but the algorithm got you in at 205. You have the 50-day starting to turn. May not be a bad time. Today, it's up, let's see, 0.18, kind of flat. You're hovering around that 200-day. What's happened the last few times it's hovered around that 200-day? It does seem to pop. It does seem to pop. Look, every time it's hovered around that 200-day, it does seem to pop. Does that mean it's going up? Absolutely not. Earnings, let's go and look at what the earnings expectations are. We'll go and look at Waste Management. Let's just type in WM. We'll search. I don't want to look for it. WM Waste Management. Let's see. Waste Management right here. They reported last time $1.96 per share. They're expected $1.79 per share. Okay, their revenue expected to go up because their revenue estimate last time was 5.51 billion. They reported 5.61. So revenue should go up. Earnings per share should go down. For me, maybe that's a good setup. You look at the 4-hour here. We go and look at the weekly. Is it stretched? No. MACD reset itself. Putting in that nice little, when you see this, it's called capitulation. Just puts in that nice little thing right there around $200. Demand's right. It may be setting up for a move higher. And what's the all-time high on this one? Looks like it's about 220. I'm trading at 214. Let's go and look at it from a fundamental standpoint. Is it a buy? Well, Wall Street, right now, there's 23 analysts that cover this one. They think it's 232. That's an 8% upside. Do not stare, a gift horse in the mouth and say, it can't happen. Valuation, little stretch. Just move to a hold in the quant. You can see the quant ratings here. It's been a buy. So if you had Seeking Alpha and you saw it move from a hold to a buy at 205, you're doing pretty damn well. Okay, in a name that just doesn't have a huge, huge movement. If we go and let's look at the 52-week range, it's between 184 and 230. So it's got 230 in it, it's trading at 214. You can see all this stuff. Now, the valuation, it's stretched. PE, 29. PEG ratio, a little bit high. Does that mean anything? Growth, they got 6%. It's a C+. Levered free cash flow is you're losing 7%. Their profitability, unmatched. A. Look at that. Gross profit margin, 39% in trash. Momentum, it's a C. Near term at 3 months, it's a little bit stretched. Revisions, though, 11 up, 4 down on earnings per share, 16 up, none down on revenue. And remember, they're expected to make more revenue. Take a look at the analyst report. Republic Services, Waste Connections, that's their competitors. Valuation, WN's valuation is stretched with the price to book of 12, significantly higher. Growth shows strong growth metrics with year-over-year revenue of 6%. Profitability excels in profitability. Stock's momentum is moderate with 1-year performance of up 12%. The sector medium of 5%. That's underperforming the S&P. You may not want to hold it, like D-Man says. Maybe trade it. Positive raised by them. Again, you can read all about this. Okay? The virtual analyst report comes up. If you just go and look at the summary of this one, you can see it's ranked 5 out of 24. What's the number one? Eris Water Solutions, 4.83. Strong buy in the quant. So you could go down a rabbit hole every day with Seeking Alpha, with just stocks that you look at. Okay? Some stocks that came up in the 4-hour algorithm as buys, Bank of America. Bank of America in the 4-hour algorithm has a buy here. It was 44.44 was the original one. This one tells me it's going for another run. Financials, I think you get to 49 on this one. Okay, this is in the core portfolio. And again, the scans that you see at the end of the newsletter, they are all for the 4-hour algorithm. These are bullish in the 4-hour algorithm in Trendspider. That's what that means. Now, this one, when you look at it, it's a hold from Wall Street. Quant. But Wall Street thinks it's $51. That's 10% upside from where you are now. So maybe you want to trade the 4-hour algorithm, which makes you 53% over 24 months. Okay, 23 positions, you win 52% of the time. What if you just bought and held it? 24 months ago, you made 38%. Again, make sure you have the tools, make sure you have a strategy. That's what yesterday's all about. That's what today is all about. Just make sure that that's you. If you lost sleep last night, it's not the market. It's not the NVIDIA. It's your choices in your portfolio. And so make sure you have a strategy. If the strategy is just buy and hold and VOO and QQQ, that's a strategy. If the strategy is alpha picks, that's a strategy. If the strategy is technical, I went over it yesterday. There's a guy who traded C Limited for over 2 years who thought it was a shipping company. It is a Chinese software company. So, but that's a strategy. Just make sure you have that. Okay, that's it for today. We're going to go over more earnings and stuff. Again, the Fed meeting announcement is tomorrow. We have earnings. You have plenty of catalysts in this market. Right now, it does look like the market's a bit stretched. As it opens up, if we go and look at it, you can see the NASDAQ's down 0.12, S&P down 0.18. Does it mean, again, do you buy balls deep into this market? No. You stick the tip in because we are stretched on a weekly. And you need a large catalyst. And right now the market is scared. And when the market is scared, you need to look up your fear and index, you need to look up your VIX, and you need to look at the 10-year. But you can see weekly on this one, we're just stretched. And so don't expect a market that gets some good news and pops 10%. Don't expect a market where Trump puts out a tweet and you're up 10%. He could put out a tweet and you're down 10%, but I don't think he can put out a tweet that makes you go up 10%. We are at all-time highs, and that's where it's difficult to say, absolutely, go, pull up your Brinks truck and buy the dip. But you want to do it strategically. And I do think the pullback on the power utility companies and the chip companies, it's an opportunity. But do you make it your part of your main portfolio? No, it shouldn't be 50% of your portfolio. So make sure you're sizing things right and your risk tolerance is okay. If you slept fine last night and you lost 40%, just means your risk tolerance is perfectly fine. But you might not, long term, you might be hurt. Your strategy has to both work, meaning that your returns are good, and it has to allow you to sleep at night. So I'll put more in the newsletter for you. If you have any questions, hit me up. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.